Let me ask you something. Are you getting everything out of your rent-to-own business? If you're not an APRO member, then the answer is probably no. Look, advocacy is APRO's bread and butter. This is why they were created and what they do best. But here's the thing. APRO membership is about way more than advocacy. APRO connects you to the movers and the shakers of the industry, people who've been there, done that, and they can help you do it even better. APRO's monthly webinars give you expert insights and actionable takeaways. It's like having a masterclass for your business every single month. Got questions about complex regulations or sticky situations? No problem. APRO's legal hotline gives you direct access to experts who have got the answers. That's a peace of mind that you can't put a price on. And let's not forget the resources, news, updates, and tools that keep you ahead of the curve. Scholarships for your team? Check. Disaster relief when you need it most? Double check. APRO is your ultimate support system in the rent-to-own world. So stop settling for less. With APRO, members get more. More support, more connections, and more success. Head over to rtohq.org and join the APRO family today. Because in this business, more isn't just better. It's essential. See you at the top with APRO. Hello, everybody, and this is Pete from the RTO Show. Today, we are talking rent-to-own with Charles Smitherman, the new CEO and big dog at APRO. How are you doing today, Charles? What's going on?
Hey, I'm great, Pete. Happy to be here. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Excited to be on the show.
That's awesome. So, listen, you had to come down a long road. You're part of a huge organization that means a whole lot to rent to own. And now a quick word from our sponsor. Listen, everybody, if you're looking for an electronics dealer that has what you're looking for, Dialectic is the one that you want to go to. Lewis and Keith have put something together. They have a little bit of everything. They've got generators, iPads to iMacs, Apple TV, Beats Audio, grills, gaming consoles from Xbox, Sony, Nintendo, VR gaming, smart projectors, and a sidetrack monitor that you can mount to the back of your laptop. Listen, they have just a little bit of everything. Also, they are the sponsor of our giveaway for the RTO Show free drawing that we're doing at the end of the month on 8/31 to win the 12.5-inch sidetrack monitor. These guys are amazing. If you want to reach out to them, you can reach out to Keith at godielectric.com and make him a vendor and put something on your counter that's from one of the best vendors around. And now back to the show. And remind us again, what does APRO stand for?
The Association for Progressive Rental Organizations.
So, what does the CEO do? What did you do before you got here, and how did that culminate to them choosing you out of all the candidates that they could have taken to make you part of what we do on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I have. It's been an interesting road to get here. I've been in RTO for about 9 years, really on the vendor side. I'm an attorney by training and profession, and had worked private practice for a while, and then I went in-house as general counsel for a financial service company that provided one of the club programs to a lot of the rent-to-own dealers. And so I have been around in that capacity, attending RTO World, Trib, just industry events and legislative conferences and that type of thing for the past 8 years. And my work as general counsel, and then I kind of moved up into a vice president role, and then eventually a COO role. And then, this opportunity came up earlier this year, and right time, right place, and things just worked out really well. Couldn't be more happier with the way that it turned out.
Well, full transparency, that Charles is new to the position, not new to RTO, but I did actually get to meet Charles at FRDA this year, what just happened last month, and it was a great opportunity to meet the new CEO of APRO because it really means a lot to the industry, and FRDA is the Florida Rental Dealer Association, so he came all the way down to Florida and, stopped by, and we just had a great time. A lot of things were discussed and said. We got chatted up with the vendors and kind of really get to know what's going on. Paul Mativier, president of FRDA, he just hosted a great time, and we really, really enjoyed what they had to say. Now, as far as when you took over the CEO position, when did that take place?
So my official start date was on June 1st. So I've been in the position for now about 2 months. I kind of had a soft launch for, a good chunk of May, trying to just get oriented, to get the both figuratively and literally get the keys to all of the information and with the transition from the outgoing interim CEO. And so, I was just trying to get up to speed as fast as I could to hit the ground running, because this is about as busy of a time of year as it gets for a lot of our people out in the industry, and us included, building up to RTO World.
Now, I know that RTO World is a huge part of the year. It's one of the biggest conventions that we have in rent to own. We always look forward to it. So now that you're getting ready for that, right? You got the keys to the kingdom. You've come in. You've got some background. Help me out here, because some of the guys have been asking me, what exactly does a CEO do at APRO? What exactly is your mission to make happen at APRO?
So that's a great question. And, fortunately, I have about a 5 or 6 page job description that was given to me whenever I applied for the role. And bullet point by bullet, I can tell you really the overarching part of what the job entails is really providing, leadership and direction for all of APRO's activities, from setting and guiding the mission statement and the mission of the organization, to garnering and gathering input from our board members, from our dealers, from our vendors, and the industry itself, and miscellaneous things, including financial oversight and just responsibility of the staff and the organization. And so it's really kind of 3 areas, really member relations. You and I met down at FRDA in Tampa. That is part of it, getting out, seeing people, getting a pulse on what's going on in the industry. We've got a large board with APRO, 16 members and 2 representatives from the vendor side. And I'm kind of the primary liaison between the board and the staff. We've got a great staff at APRO currently. Just a great team. I think most of these people are really well known, have been out in the industry. Jen Troke does a great job. Ed Wynn, longtime general counsel, has been here since the industry started. Just a wealth of information. Talisha Wendell, again, another long-term staff member. Lisa Kravenhoff, she helps with and runs our meetings. Eddie Flores, who's our data program specialist. We just hired 2 new people on board that just started yesterday, so we're excited to have them, and hope people get a chance to see them at RTO World. Giannis Cisneros and Benji Colegio. So
the first thing I hear is the meet and greet, right? You've got to go out there and you've got to see people. You got to shake hands and kiss babies, because you're the new guy on the block. And not only do you have APRO to kind of look after, you have to show everybody who you are, and they've got to meet you and kind of shake hands. Do you see a lot of familiar faces when you go out there, or is it just, you've been in the industry for 9 years, but do you see a lot of familiar faces, or is this a whole new realm of different side of RTO when you see these faces as you're going out and kind of meeting everybody and putting like you said, checking the pulse of the RTO at these meetings?
This is really one of the perks of the job, is getting to go out and see people, shake hands, talk, hear stories, hear how everybody's doing. And I think that, it really, my first really kind of trip was to MRDA back in July with the Missouri Rental Dealers Association, and their Heartland Expo show they put on. And, really kind of walking in on this side of it rather than, kind of my past position. It was just great. I felt immediately comfortable. This is such a relationship driven industry where that's so important, and kind of having those relationships already and being able to build on those and develop new ones with new faces, people I might not have dealt with in the past. It was provided a really great platform to kind of step in and really hit the ground running with this new role.
Well, I will tell you, for throwing some names out there, Jen Troke is my favorite hero down at APRO. I'm just telling you right now, she is my favorite here at APRO. I'm just putting that in right now. And but it is nice to meet people, because I saw the pictures from MRDA. And let me tell you, those guys know how to have some fun. So it's really nice to be able to see that. Because sometimes in the RTO industry, we forget, because we see the walls, the division of who are, I don't want to say we're against, but we're in the same industry looking for the same type of customer, right? So you have Buddies, and you have Rent-A-Centers, you have Aaron's, you have Premier, you have Eagle Rents, you've got Magic Rentals, you've got Rent King. and we're all kind of jockeying for the same thing. But at the end of the day, when you can let your hair down and you have something like MRDA or FRDA, where you can go and say, hey man, how are you doing as a person? How are you doing as a business? And just kind of let your hair down in a sense of word. It's just really nice to see that. I'll tell you right now, when I went down to FRDA, Kevin Silvers, he came over and just really, I felt so humbled that this guy was so interested in the show, and he knew us, and he was just introducing me to a lot of new people. And I've really got to reach out to Kevin and just tell him, man, we're going to get together and do some work. But these guys are just amazing, right? The rent-to-own industry is just so great. But so now you're the CEO. You've been around. You're saying hi and hellos for the time that you can, right? So here's a question. Now that you're the current CEO, does that vision change any bit because you're now the new CEO? Does it stay the same? I mean, what direction does Charles take APRO? Is there a certain direction that you have in mind for us going forward?
Well, that's a great question. And, the really, kind of the perspective I come in on this, I'm an attorney, really practicing law in some form or another for about 20 years. And, part of being an attorney, or really the main part is clients and client relationships and representing your client's best interest, being a zealous advocate for them. And what's great about this role and kind of my background and preparation kind of coming into this is really having the RTO industry being that client, and that where I can be that kind of advocate for them, help provide input on, the strategy and direction, and really, have this wealth of resource that APRO has with all of the dealers, with the great board of directors that we have, and all of that, wealth of experience and knowledge and perspectives that really to drive that. So at APRO, we have a strategic plan, and one thing I'm kind of coming in on the back end of that. We're about 2.5 years into that strategic plan, and that culminates up in around April of next year. So we'll be assessing how we've done on that, and then really developing a new one. And so, a lot of what I'm doing right now is really trying to get out and, really listen and get a feel for what our members need and want from APRO. What are the benefits that we can do and improve on? How can we make this an organization that you're proud to be a member of, that you're excited to come to and be involved in the events and activities that we put on and sponsor and participate in, and really just drive a sense of pride of what being an APRO member. And so, those are the things that are really, that's on the agenda of really developing and, the plan going forward.
I know that, it sounds like APRO has a lot going on, and it looks like it has a lot looking out for when it comes to the RTO industry. It looks like it's trying to do the best it can to fit this need of direction. And I think we all can use that. If you're not a member of APRO and you're out there in the world, let's say you're a new rental dealer, how do you become a member of APRO?
Well, that's we've got a fairly active marketing. We represent, I think, one of the great things about APRO. I mean, we are the trade association for the rent-to-own industry, and we represent, a significant, overwhelming majority of rental dealers out there. And so, part of that new membership is that, we knowing who we are and being out there, and that's something we try to promote, be active, so that that it would be front of mind to, hey, we should look at joining APRO, look at the benefits that we get from being a member, and how that we can help grow and develop our new company, or our existing one for that matter. That we've got that, and a lot of just relationships of, relying on our current members and dealers to really, sell the benefits of being involved, of getting to come to our events like RTO World, legislative conference, our education sessions, those types of things. And so that's really the main parts. And we've got, work to do on our end to really, sell and promote who we are and what we do, and how that we represent the industry, and that being the whole industry. And whether you're a member or not, we speak for we call ourselves the voice of RTO, and that's something we take very seriously, and it is part of our mission for our existence.
Now, when you say the voice of RTO, Charles, we're going to come back to that. I want you to know that. We're going to put a pin in that. We're going to come back to that. But if you guys really want to know what APRO does, some of the other things that they do that you might not know of, number one that I wanted to talk about, APRO has a scholarship fund. APRO has a scholarship fund for rent to own. How does that work? So that is amazing. And I think that's great that we're looking forward to the future, not only of the future, but the people who are in rent to own and their family's future. How does that work? How does the scholarship work?
So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. This is something that one of the things I find really exciting and rewarding about what we do. So APRO itself is a not-for-profit trade association. As part of that, we have what's called the APRO Charitable Foundation, which is a registered 501c3 charity. And what that does, it allows us to kind of accumulate donations. And as part of the Charitable Foundation, one of the main aspects of it is the scholarships we give out to members and families of APRO members for college. The Charitable Foundation was, or at least the scholarship fund portion of it was founded, I believe, about 15 years ago. And to date, we have awarded over $1.1 million in scholarship funds to APRO RTO industry people. Those are employees of dealers, families of owners, anyone that's associated with the industry is eligible to apply for a scholarship.
Let's take a quick break.
Hey everyone, it's Pete Chow here from the RTO Show podcast, and I want to tell you about a company that's making a real difference in the rent-to-own space. Wow Brands. I've seen firsthand how they approach marketing. And let me tell you, it's not just about ads. Wow Brands builds complete digital ecosystems designed specifically for the rent-to-own industry. Their e-commerce and lead generation strategies are built to bring in qualified leads. And did I mention that they are actively working with the rent-to-own industry while also being members of APRO and TRIB? Listen, these folks are passionate problem solvers. They don't just slap something together. They design, build, and scale the kind of digital retail tools your business needs and your customers actually want. So if you're serious about growing, reach out to Wow Brands at wowbrands.com. I trust them, and I think you will too. So according to what I've read so far, this APRO scholarship fund has gone to RTO professionals and their families at 447 total scholarships at $1 million plus, because we're right over just $1 million. I mean,
well, let me give you
that's amazing.
Let me give you the update on that, because we just announced 38 new scholarship recipients this week, and so that raises that total of 408 to 485 total scholarship recipients. So
that's congratulations to APRO and the people who have been able to successfully use that scholarship, needing it to go and further their education. That's amazing. But now, again, we're talking about one aspect of it. So we're talking about the leadership. We're talking about how you can utilize that for new companies. Now we're using the APRO for what we would say the furthering of education through the APRO Scholarship Fund. But then we also have the ability to lean on APRO for times of need. And those times of need happen all the time. I live in Florida, and I know that you guys out there listening, you have your own states and the things that happen in your own states, whether they're tornadoes, tsunamis, hurricanes, whatever the case is. But APRO actually has something for that. Now, we were talking about that a little bit earlier, and I find it so fascinating. But APRO also has an employee disaster relief program for quick assistance in financial situations for natural disasters. Talk to me a little bit about that.
So the Disaster Relief Fund is part of the Charitable Foundation. It was begun in 2005 after Hurricane Katrina hit, and we had a lot of dealers and owners that were trying to pool resources to help a lot of the people that were affected by that. And so that's where this really originated, and it's something that's continued on for that. What we do, and we're pretty active in terms of watching the news, watching kind of events that happen. We typically reach out to we see that if there's flooding or severe storms or hurricane, and we'll reach out to our members in that area just to remind them, hey, look, if you've got an employee, you yourself have had some type of an issue or financial loss from this, whether that's property, lost wages, any type of financial assistance that you might have or you might need because of the event, we're here for you. And so we've got some criteria for it. We've got some valid verification process in place to do that. But we are our APRO board executive committee serves as the authorizing body for that. So we get an application in, and these guys will turn around an approval really quick, and we're able to get those funds out very, very fast to people that need it, and in urgent, dire type situations. Since 2005, I think we have been able to donate about $500,000 in disaster relief funds from that. And I would say that really, in terms of both the disaster relief and the scholarship fund, those are all funded by APRO members. When you get your dues invoice, there are a few extra boxes that you can check to make donations. We've got suggested donations for both, and that money gets pooled in to distribute in those ways. And we've also got an initiative called the Society for Tomorrow, and this is a process that allows for kind of long-term giving at certain levels for those donations, and it's an ongoing, continuous thing that we kind of facilitate. And that's really kind of the great thing about APRO. We are this association that we're able to pool these donations to give out these scholarships and this disaster relief, to coordinate with our state associations who do scholarship funds themselves, or who may allow us to administer those, and to attach their own criteria to that and with their own donations to them. So we really provide a really good clearinghouse and administrative option for doing that, and particularly both of these really great causes.
I'm gonna tell you what, Charles, I'm a little sour. In 2004, Hurricane Charlie came down to my town. I was working out of the very large town. I think we had a whole population of 500 people. We were in Wauchula, and Hurricane Charlie went up. It was supposed to hit, I believe it was Punta Gorda, decided to make a turn and went straight up Highway 17 and absolutely leveled Hardee County. And I was working in RTO at that point. I didn't have the APRO to go to at that point in time, but I'm so glad that people do. I actually spent 9 months working out of a office trailer and running a rent-a-center out of that for that length of time. We actually had about 4 storage containers, and we would every day empty out the storage containers into the parking lot and set it up as a showroom and try to sell. And if you know anything about Florida, it rains every other 5 minutes. So 70% of my day was taking out furniture or putting it back in or covering it up as best we could. But having gone through that myself, I can say right now that I'm so glad that there are things out there such as APRO and these disaster relief funds to help people who have gone through it. Because I'm telling you right now, as somebody who has gone through it, worked through it, and also had to have we had to stand in the FEMA line. We had to wait for water. We had to wait for food. It was really rough to know that we have things in place nowadays in the current situation. That gives me a lot of hope for what we have going on in the future. Talking about hope, and we're talking about all these great things that are happening at APRO. We have somebody to remember. As far as I know, it was in June, I believe June or July, we had somebody leave the APRO ranks by the name of Shelly Martinick. Can you explain to me or talk to me a little bit about Shelly? She was the director of education and meetings, and she looked like she had really left her mark on APRO, and we were really sad to see her go and not be a part of this RTO World this year or any in the future. Can you tell me a little bit about her and her memory?
Yeah, Shelly was, and there are a lot of people that have really, when you look at where this industry is today, you look at APRO, you look at just, the existence of how things are done and the success that this industry has had. You can look at people that contribute to that, and it's really hard to understate the role that Shelly played in that. She was the longtime director of education and meetings. She joined APRO in 1989 and was with us at APRO until 2019. So 30 years of dedication and work. for the association and for the members and the mission that we have in delivering these programs and improving the industry and in these multiple ways that we go about doing that. So she was the outpouring of, support and memory for her over the past few weeks since her passing was announced has been really just really great, just really good, testament to what that she was able to do. And from that 30-year period, and really with that legacy continuing on to RTO World today, that was her major contribution of organizing these great meetings. And they were, known this legacy of these timely, very well organized, very well run, and just, incredibly fun events as well.
She looks like she's left quite an impact on APRO. I wish I would have met Shelley at the time. I wasn't a part of the meetings and the discussions and the RTO Worlds at that point in time in my career, but I really wish that I would have met Shelley and kind of just gotten to know her a little bit. It seems like we have lost a star at APRO, and her memory is going to live on. We do appreciate you being able to talk about that. Now, talk about memorization, talking about making something, because, when we talk, right, they say when it goes out into the internet, it's on the ether, but then sometimes that happens with magazines, right? You got the magazine covers and you put something in writing and it sticks. APRO has a magazine called the RTO HQ. So rent to own headquarters is what I'm thinking that it stands for. And it keeps the industry up to date, right? You send that out every, is it quarterly, right? It's a quarterly publication?
It's twice a year, and that is largely reflective. It's expensive to run a magazine, and it's in print now, but we do, and that the twice a year really allows us to capture a lot of those important things that are going on and spread that word. So yeah, I love that magazine and what it does, and just how important it is to really, what we try to do at APRO. And we've got a lot of different, hats to wear, but that storytelling aspect of, we've got there's a great story in this last one on Jerry Marshall, Buddy's franchisee up in Virginia, telling the stories of how the people that make up this industry, how they got into it, what their involvement is, it's just some really great things. I think that's one of my favorite things about this industry, are these origination stories of how people got into RTO and how they're started off with this type of business and then found, what's out there as being a really important and high consumer demand for this type of list purchase option, and how the ingenuity that's gone into filling that role and providing nice things for nice people that RTO does. So magazines are a very important part of that, both internally, for we can send it out to all our members and you can flip through it and look for your photo and see if someone captured you at an event, and then both externally too, because it tells our story to the people outside of the industry of what we are and what we're not, and how that this industry is so important, and how it affects just so many people across the country with what we do and how we do it.
Well, I will tell you, it affected me when I got one. I was actually in one, Danny and I, from the last time that we were at RTO World. And believe me when I tell you, it's actually sitting in my office. I do cherish that. It's because, again, I think there's no doubt that the world is going digital. But there's a reason why analog lasted. And sometimes just having that in your hands, like you said, being able to flip through the pages and look for what you have, there's nothing like that in the world. You can take that home, and it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You can thumb through that, and you don't need any power. You don't need any lights on. You can thumb through that, and it's really just one of those memories that you can kind of take and hold with you. So I'm not going to say anything. I would love to see maybe one day the RTO show advertised in the RTO HQ magazine. I'm just putting it out there. Forward projections.
I'll tell you, it's a really high quality magazine. We've got a great person that's out there that writes, Kristen Card. If you've looked at the table of contents, you will see her name appear multiple times, because she is our writer, layout, just the real, both the brains and the creative, artistic provider for this. And so but yeah, it's a great thing, and we'll see what we can do about the promoting the RTO show in the future.
I'm gonna have to pay Kristen a visit next time I go out to. I'm gonna have to, hey, how are you doing? But I tell you what, so the magazine is on point. If you guys haven't had a chance to see the RTO HQ magazine, it is absolutely phenomenal. Like Charles said, it's very robust. It's a very nice, well put together, very serious magazine that kind of just sheds light on every part. If you have something going on, make sure you let APRO know, because I would love to see whatever you guys doing out there in that RTO HQ magazine. I know that I loved it when I was in it, and I hold that and I cherish that till this day.
Yeah. And if I could add to that,
yeah,
if you don't mind, if I could add just on that, like, yeah, if there's news, if there's some story that you want to get out there, reach out to us. We're constantly looking for content for both the magazine with the articles that we do, and in our weekly newsletter too that goes out from events, recaps of FRDA, MRDA, whatever it may be, births, marriages. We throw it all in the newsletter, and that's so if there's content, something that you want to get out there, reach out to us, and we'll see what we can do.
I think it's a great thing to do. And like Charles said, don't be afraid. Reach out. Let somebody know what's going on in your neck of the woods, because nobody knows what's going on in the world until we shed some light on it through the RTO HQ magazine. And that leads us to the biggest question. I keep on saying it. I've got to get the shirt. I'm going to get a shirt, Mike. I promise you. The biggest question is, what's going on at RTO World this year? And what can we expect from RTO World in San Antonio 2023?
Well, I'm extremely excited about what's coming up here in a couple of weeks. This is going to be, I think, one of our biggest and best shows ever. I mean, we're in San Antonio, which is just a phenomenal place to hold a convention. We're right down on the Riverwalk. All of our activities around that, just really cool and great area. I can tell you we've officially sold out of our vendor or the expo space. So we're going to have a full house in the vendor show portion. We have, as of this morning, we've got almost 700 attendees, which I think is, a great turnout for RTO World. The one thing, RTO World's really focused, and I think our what we drive to do with this is really three things. Relationships is so important to the industry, and we provide that forum of lots of networking opportunities, receptions, with the highlight being our experience party, which will be at a location down on the Riverwalk on that Wednesday night, the 23rd. Also, the innovation and solutions aspect, and that's really the trade show, of getting people in that same room to see all these new and cool things. One thing I think APRO really tried to do and has done very well in the past is that, hey, this is a show that if you've got some new product and you want to try out, see how it fits in the industry, try to garner that support or just interest, we provide a really good forum to be able to do that, because the RTO World, you need to be, if you're a TRIB member, you can exhibit, but you don't have to be a TRIB member, and that allows kind of new people to really test the waters in rent to own. And then if it's something that works, then they can apply to be a TRIB member and do the show, the TRIB Meeting in the Mind show in the late winter, early spring. And so you've got those things. And let me just mention the other part of it, really the ideas and collaboration, which is our educational content. We've got 15 educational sessions and 5 different tracks, from product testing, legislative and technology, customer service, sales and marketing, staffing. Got a lot of great presenters. One really familiar name popped up on the list as I was reviewing it earlier. Do you happen to know anybody that's presenting at RTO World this year?
I actually do know a couple people, including myself. And I'm glad you said that, Charles. So I will be doing a presentation at the RTO World, and I don't want to give it all away because I want you guys to show up and let you guys know what's going on. We're going to show on how to stand out, and that's going to be one of the things that I definitely want to talk about, because I feel like there's a passion behind it. And I was talking to Jen about it, Jen Troke, and I was like, you know what? I hope that if I can do anything, is that if they can get that 50 minutes sit down and walk away with just one thing that they'll never forget. If I can just change them for one time, that one thing that they won't forget when they get back home, when they get back to the job, when they get back to RTO, then I've done it right. So that is the goal, guys. That is the goal. That familiar name is Pete Shao. He is definitely going to be part of that lineup, including some other people that I'm really excited to hear. I don't know how many people are going to be speaking at the same time I will, so I might miss out on some of my favorites, but I will tell you that I am going to as many as I can go to before I have to get up on there. I've got some surprises coming. I will not say anything else than that. I got some surprises, but the convention is absolutely huge. It's the biggest convention of the year, especially when it comes to APRO, when it comes to RTO in general. Everybody looks forward to RTO World. Was that the original purpose behind RTO World? Was the education? Was it the vendors? Was it the camaraderie? What was the actual reason that they started this? And have we lived up to that? Has the RTO World been that arm of APRO that has been heading in that same direction and has gotten bigger? Has it kind of turned and veered over the years? Or I know I'm saying that because you've been doing this for literally 2 months, and I do apologize, but is it fair to say that, I mean, it's kind of grown with the industry, or was that what it was created to accomplish?
Well, I think it is adapted to the needs of both our member dealers and our vendors, and the people sponsors that we really rely on just tremendously to put on this show. Traditionally it was, and this is APRO's part of RTO World is APRO's main meeting of the year, and that's where we do our educational sessions. We'll do our general session. We'll do our business meeting, our annual awards luncheon. Our board meeting. A number of these type of things that we do. That's part of our association. The trade show aspect of it is something that we really began, and when we partnered with Trib, and I believe it was about 5 years ago. Whenever there were just kind of these multiple pulls. We were doing an expo attached to RTO World. Trib has their meeting and their association meeting with their expo in the winter or early spring. And then there were a number of other ones coming up. And I think that there was a consensus at that point with us and Trib of like, look, we need to have two main industry events a year and two expos and two attempts or chances for dealers to come in and buy product and see what's out there and what's going on. And so it really developed into that partnership with Trib to hold this meeting. And they, Dennis and Shields and his team just do a great job with the expo portion and getting that organized, helping us sell sponsorships. And, it's been a great partnership for us. And we're able to, facilitate a space where, our common membership and our common vendors, we can all come together and be there for our educational sessions, be there for this great trade show. And more than anything, just be there for the networking and just this relationship building and, fostering that really goes on with just when you get it, more than a couple of RTO guys together. And so it's just a great event. And that's really kind of how it's all developed to where it is now.
So when we talk about these big events and we talk about the Trib, I just want you guys to know the current president, Mike Tissett, is an amazing friend of the show. I would love to say he's an amazing friend of mine, but he's got so much going on. But he's been so good to the show, and he did come on. And you know what? I think that Trib is doing such a good job at really kind of just exposing the industry to a lot of different things, and those meetings are important. So it's nice to know that APRO and Trib have kind of set these leading ways down these paths to give somebody guidance, to give these new guys guidance, to give us vendors who really, really understand RTO and want to serve this industry. And of course, I love the leadership and experience and the classes that we have to make us better at what we do. I love that. I think it's a great thing. But when you talk about people who are paying it forward, you've got to talk about Paid It and Ashley right there, the two biggest sponsors, so I hear, of the RTO World this year. And Paid It has teamed up with the RTO show. And what we've done is we've actually done a release on the information of what they're breaking, which is going to be a huge electronics collections platform at RTO World. Do you know about this? Did they tell you that, hey, we're going to break this over there? Or they're just like, hey, we're just going to do our thing and then they're just going to announce this? Are you part of that?
Well, I mean, Richard at Paid It has been, and that company has, as you said, they're one of our top sponsor, or they are our top sponsor, along with Ashley and Mike Hayes and his team. And so they've come in. We've kind of known a little bit tidbits of, hey, that they're planning something. And I was excited to listen to your last episode where he really finally exposed some of those details about what was coming. I listened to your episode last night. It sounds like a really cool product and potential game changer that's out there. That what a lot of the vendors and what these services that are trying to provide of, hey, of taking care of some of this manual administrative type task and letting dealers get out and sell and run their business. And so I'm excited about what Richard and his team have developed, and particularly excited because he is leading a session at RTO World where I understand they're going to actually demo this new platform for everyone at the session.
Now, I'm telling you right now, I want to see that demo. I want to see what's going on. Talking to Richard Formo, like he really kind of put everything in perspective, and he kind of laid down this clear, distinct idea of what this new collections automation platform can do. And I'm going to tell you, it's a lot. This is definitely something that the RTO industry, in my opinion, can use. And I know I'm going to see a lot of people going to this within the next few months and to the next year. I know it's going to be big for them to be able to do this and make it in such a way that somebody who's been in the industry for almost 2 decades, I'm running to this. I want to see it happen. If he does something where he can kind of showcase this and debut it and really talk about it, then I've already told him, and I'm going to tell you, Charles, you might have to have somebody watching him on a stage. I think they're going to rush up there and really try to find out what's going on with RTO2, which is probably one of the biggest things that I've heard come out in a long time. And I'm so glad that he was kind of able to get with you guys and he can kind of launch it at RTO World. I mean, where else would you launch it? Right?
Well, and that's just it.
APRO's event. I mean, it has to be.
Well, and that's one thing we've always tried to facilitate is to be that that launch point. And so it's incredibly exciting that Richard has picked this as his launching point. And I'm excited about the session. Our board president Michael Bennett is going to be on that panel with him as they present it. And it's just it's a really cool product. And just having listened to the podcast, and then I'm excited to poke my head into that session and really see what this thing can do, because it sounds like it could do a lot of everything. So it's really exciting for him.
It's absolutely the way I think of it is, every time that there's a shift in an industry, you can almost feel it. And I feel like that shift is coming. Is it going to all unfold within the next couple of months? Probably not. But I think they're going to have a big jump. They're going to turn a lot of things around. And as word gets out from people that are going to jump on it right away and take advantage and utilize this software, I think it's just going to be a domino effect. I think it's just going to happen and keep on happening until it's fully integrated into the RTO industry. And I'm just being me, I'm not professional in that realm, but I can say that I've been here long enough to see where things are going. And I can definitely say an automated platform that can do collections and some sales is something that people are looking for. They need a breath of fresh air. I think Richard and his team can do it. Now, Ashley, being an absolute great sponsor, they're always there for us anytime that we need them in the RTO industry and out. So we're talking about people who are there and things that are there for us. What role does APRO play in the ability for rent-to-own as an industry to stay solvent? The legislation part of the RTO industry, you mentioned that a couple times already. How important is it for APRO to be a part of the legislation in the RTO industry? And how does that work? Do we have bodies that sit there and kind of let us know when things are on the rise, the things that we need to worry about? How often do we get together to go there? Is it once a year to go and get everybody together and kind of talk to our representatives about how important the RTO industry is?
Well, I'm glad you brought this up, because this is really, RTO World, the programming, education, all of the stuff that we do. This is secondary to what our really core and main mission and focus is, and that is protecting the RTO industry. And what we go about, it is a 24/7 continuous, everyday, 365 service that we provide as part of what we do. Ed, our longtime general counsel, Ed Wynn, wrote an article in RTO HQ a few years ago, and he really likened it to that we're the antivirus software. We're constantly running in the background, looking, monitoring laws, regulations, bills, activities by regulators, where the winds are shifting, what those priorities are, and that's something that's really important that we are constantly doing. I think it's kind of almost in that same going on that the antivirus software metaphor there. You get your alerts sometimes when your virus is running or your virus software is running in the background. And sometimes it said, hey, we prevented this attack, or hey, look, this is happening right now. And we've got functions like that. We send out whenever there's like a bill that affects the industry. Most of the time, this is on the state level where there's a proposal or there's something that we're keeping an eye on and we want everybody to know about. We send out an RTO alert that goes out to all the membership. And then, if these things start to advance, we've got a number of playbooks out there as to how that we react, typically in lots of ways involving our state associations who are really on that ground level, grassroots area to react, to get in front of the legislative committees and the legislators when these things are happening. We've also got, and I cannot express how important our government relations committee is at APRO. And this is really composed of, we've got three of the best attorneys in RTO that provide leadership for that. Brian Perchesky at Renda Center, Rachel George from Aaron's, and Christine Hess from Progressive. They're all APRO board members, and they just do an incredible job and an incredibly important job, really kind of being at the forefront and really working alongside our general counsel, Ed Wynn, to be out there and monitor it, because that's really what we're here for. And that it is, we've got our mission statement, but the underlying focus of our mission statement is to prevent bad bills and to keep our APRO members solvent, functioning, and to promote this industry where it's going to continue to grow like it has done over the past 50 years.
Now, when you say it happens usually on a state level, is there any other federal level threats that we have to worry about as well, or is it primarily at the state level that things arise?
Well, the federal level is the big one, and that, with the states, it's really, we got 50 states to worry about, 49 really if you kind of discount one in particular. But, we do a lot on the federal level. One of our big events, at least with APRO, is our annual legislative conference. We were able to resurrect that this year, and this is a chance for all of our APRO members to come to DC. We'll have a meeting. We will, get scheduling, and then I'll walk up to the Hill and walk the halls of Congress and go meet with our representatives and our senators, and really just to convey who we are and who we're not. And I think that's really the big thing that we've got to worry about, is really being lumped in with a lot of what we're not. And this is really a good chance for all our members to go up and really promote the industry and to really give a face to it, to go up there and say, hey, I am, so-and-so from this state, and I own this number of stores, and we employ this many people, and we service these several hundreds of customers that in this district. And what we do is important. What we do is in demand and needed. And we provide a great service and an alternate form for good people to get good products. And so, yeah, that's one of our important things. We're hopefully looking forward to doing that again this year. We kind of got set back with the pandemic and then the just kind of restrictions on visitor access and in the halls of Congress over the past couple of years. And so that's just a really important thing, and that I strongly encourage everyone out there to get involved and go up there, because I can tell you it's times like this that we we're not up there asking for things. We're, asking for a bill or asking for favors or any action on their part. We're just up there to build relationships and to put a face to this industry that with these guys up in DC. And so it's just an incredibly important function of what we do with APRO, and part of that legislative function of really monitoring our legislation and really having a direct impact on that. And related to that, we do have a PAC. This enables our members to kind of contribute to the APRO PAC, and then we can distribute those funds out to legislators and to campaigns, and to try to have input on that level as well.
What it sounds like is APRO is the voice of rent-to-own, and we're looking for the face, right? And the face is every one of you guys out there who are listening to the RTO show and RTO land in this industry. Putting a face to the voice of RTO and APRO allows us to make things happen, to protect the industry and to help it succeed and grow in the future. So I like that. I like that we have that ability, and I like that APRO is looking forward to getting everybody together and putting these things together so we can talk to our legislative body and say, hey, don't tread on us. We're here to serve the community. And I think that sometimes people forget that the main focus of these FRDAs and MRDAs and APROs is that we get together as a unit. We get together as an industry. We get together as a family, and we go up to legislation and whatever state you're in, wherever you are, and say, hey, we serve our community and we serve it well. And we want to continue to do that with your help, because we aren't asked for anything but the ability to serve our community. So I think that's amazing, Charles. And circling back to it, I did say, I know that APRO is the voice of rent to own. I'm not even going to argue with that. I'm just thinking maybe a side note, or maybe a second voice, But anyways.
Yeah, you know what? And then this is really kind of going back to that storytelling aspect. And I love what you do with this show, because I think it is we've got the magazine, that's our print piece, and then having this digital, unique format with the podcast, and the interviews that you do and the stories that you're able to tell through this medium, to really, highlight what this industry does and how important and significant it is, to our economy and to the customers that are out there, and our owners and our employees, and just a number of lives that this industry touches. What you do is so important with this in that facility and doing that. So yeah, if we need to figure out a way to rebrand that, then let's talk.
Hey, I'm just saying, I just love to be a part of it. But I think I always wanted to, because I've worked at a couple of different rent-to-own companies, and I think that the passion is always there. We always do the same thing a little bit different, but there's passion. There's passion in this industry. And I've met people years and years and years ago, and I was talking to Paul Mativier not that long ago. It was a couple of days ago. And I met him during that crisis in 2004 when Charlie kind of destroyed everything. And you know what? He was there. And then here I am, almost 20 years later, and there he is. And, it's always putting out a hand to the people in need. And I want everybody to know about rent to own. I want everybody to know that there is something more out there than what you see. It's not just a sign. It's not just four walls. It's a community. And not only is it a community, but it's an industry that's looking to always help the communities that they're in, always help the people that they work with. And like you said, get nice people, nice stuff. I think Mike said that. It's nice to hear you say that.
That is Mike's line. I stole it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I stole Mike's line. Sorry, Mike.
We just want to get nice people, nice stuff in it. And I really appreciate the fact that there are some people willing to come out here and take their time and put their knowledge and what they do in a form that other people can listen to when they have an opportunity. Mike has done an amazing job with what he does at Trib. Paul's doing an amazing job with what he's doing at FRDA. We're going to be able to put this on before RTO World in 2023 San Antonio. They're going to be able to hear Charles. They're going to be able to know what's going on with APRO and what's the direction, the ability of what we have to put together for the scholarships and the disaster relief and the classes that we want to teach these next generation of RTO individuals, whether it be in a further education or whether it be right here homegrown in our industry, where what we're doing with, the legislation and making sure that everybody's on the same page. I think RTO World is amazing. I love APRO, and I'm so glad that everything's going on. But I will say this one more time. Jen Troke is amazing. She's my hero, and everything that I do because she allows me to. She helps me through it. She always has a kind word for me. She always has a smiling face, and she always does it. Not that anybody at APRO else isn't doing a great job. Everybody else is doing a great job. And in memory of Shelly, listen, guys, if you guys don't know, wonderful, wonderful job and a lot of time and energy that she put into APRO. We're so happy that she has been able to be memorized the way she has in these last few weeks and these last few days. So shout out to the family. We do appreciate everything that she's done. Charles, I'm so glad that you were able to be on the show. I know that you're new at this. You got 2 months behind the belt and you're still kind of swinging for the fences. So I'm so glad that you were able to kind of take some time and talk to us a little bit. The unofficial voice of Rent to Own right now. And just talk to me and share a little bit of news with me. And I want to tell you, I can't wait for RTO World San Antonio 2023.
Yeah, well, hey, look, I really appreciate the opportunity to be on the show, and I'm glad we had a chance to meet down in Florida, and that you asked me to be on it. I probably owe Kevin Silvers and Robbie Tyson a beer, their agency work and trying to promote me to get me on. So
absolutely, listen, those guys are amazing. I love those guys. They're always there. Every time we go to a show, every time we do something, those two are there. They're very solid individuals. If you guys need any printing done, or if you need anything from them, please reach out to Kevin. But let me tell you, they are some upfront guys, and they will take care of you. Robbie Tyson as well. They're just amazing. RTO family wants you to know we can't wait for RTO World 2023 San Antonio from APRO. There's going to be a lot going on. Expect a ton of great information to be had there, the educational classes, and the most amazing shout out to paidit.com. Paidit has got the biggest platform going on. You guys do not want to miss what they have to say at APRO, their convention's set up. And I am afraid that I think I talked to Jen about this, I don't know if I could change it, but I think I'm talking at the same time that Richard is talking. So I'm got to figure out a way to work that out. But if you guys are coming in and you guys see me, let you know, we're going to have some fun for those 50 minutes and we're going to make it happen. Charles, again, really appreciate your time and I really appreciate what APRO is doing for us. I want you to know, I can't wait to see you at the RTO World. We're gonna make sure we have some fun.
All right. Well, thanks, Pete. I really appreciate it, and I'll look forward to seeing you in San Antonio.
Thanks, Charles. And I want to tell you what, you get a shirt. I won't be able to send it to you before I get there. So, Charles, I will have a shirt for you when I get there, because at some point in time, you've got to show love to the RTO show, right? We all got to show a little bit of love.
I will hold you to it. If you don't have my shirt, then I'll have to come down to Tampa to find it.
I'm going to try to bring a few shirts. I probably owe quite a few shirts. I keep saying that I'm going to owe more shirts than I've got, but I definitely want to make sure you have one. Thank you so much for being on the show, and we'll talk to you at San Antonio RTO World 2023.
All right, great. Thanks, Pete.
Appreciate it. And you tell everybody over there, we appreciate the work they're doing. Thanks, Charles.
Will do. Thank you.
And just like that, that's our conversation with the CEO of APRO. And let me tell you, he's got his hands full. He's got a lot going on, but we do appreciate everything that he's done so far, everything that APRO's done and is doing for the RTO industry. And listen, guys, if you guys have any questions, please hit me up at pete@thertoshowpodcast.com. That's our email. You can go to our website and hit me up through that at www.thertoshowpodcast.com. And listen, guys, if you want to look us up, you don't want to go to the website, you can see us on Facebook and Instagram. You can look up the RTO Show podcast. The RTO Show on Facebook and the RTO Show on Instagram have a lot of different things going on. We do that for you because we want you guys to know that we care about it. We want to be invested, and we want you to be invested into the show. You want any swag? Go to the website. We have some shirts available. They are changing a little bit, so we're going to get a little bit of a different format on the shirt. So whatever we have left, we're going to start doing a discount pretty soon. And if you want to be a sponsor of the show, please go to the website, hit the link on the sponsors page, and find out how you can sponsor the show. Listen, it's not easy to do what we do, but we want to do it for you. We want to shout out to the sponsors and let them know how much we appreciate them. Thank you so much. We'll catch you next time.